Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video from 𝗣𝗿𝗁𝗲𝗄. This time it's the next part of the underbody restoration. This is the part where Al's taking it all to pieces, washing down the underbody and preparing it ready for the next stages. The tin pieces underneath are going to be removed on this job and replaced with new ones. On some occasions you can clean them up and they can get somewhere near, but on most occasions it's just not worth it for the cost. They're not exactly expensive, and these are the bits that deteriorate and end up rattling because they've got bigger holes than the actual washers and nuts that hold them on. So we're going to take these off, bin them and put new ones on. The idea of moving these bits is not so much just only about replacing them, just to keep the whole underside of the vehicle and keeping the restoration. It's so that you can actually clean behind them. Dirt and dust and grime builds up, as you'll see when Al removes this, behind everywhere, no matter whether it's covered up with a sheet of 𝗏𝗵𝗿𝗲 material like you see here. So it's always best to remove them so that you can clean properly and effectively. And now I'd like to think that you all get the gist of why this underbody restoration is more expensive than most people consider. It's not just the actual items and parts themselves, the cost of the cleaning materials, the cost of the brushes that you see Al using here. It's also a really time-consuming job to get this right. It's not a case of going over it once or even twice. You may have to go back 3 or 4 times just to get the areas spotless. and even then there may be some repairs that need to be carried out, some isolated paint work, etc., just to get the car to look right. The underbody needs to look right if you're going to do this. Something totally unrelated, but something I thought I'd mention here. People ask me all the time what's in the back of videos or what's in the background. As you can see here, this is a big turbo car, so it's got the red pipework poking out, which is part of the breather system, and just behind the downpipe you can see the screamer pipe poking down towards the floor. Also between the transmission tunnel, as they'd call it back in the day, you can see the turbo just poking down there underneath. It's on a conventional manifold and it is a precision turbo on this car. So I'll let you get back to the action, watch some more of Al cleaning relentlessly, and I'll catch up with you in a minute, guys. Cheers. For those of you wondering what kind of tool Al's using, I thought I'd let you in on a little secret. This is a Typhoon. Generally you see 𝗣𝗿𝗁𝗍𝗄𝗏𝗍 or detailers using these. They were created or came into circulation quite a while ago now. It's just pressurized air and cleaning fluid. It sprays in like a fan pattern. You can adjust the spray just like you would do with a conventional pressure washer, etc. Except it's far more powerful and it's far more effective in cleaning in between crevices, holes, apertures, etc. And it really does do a good job underneath the vehicle. and it's one of the better tools that we found for carrying out these sort of restoration jobs. So this is where attention to detail really comes into play. You've got to really work the cleaning products and solutions into these areas. Odd shapes, etc. You've got to let it dwell a little bit before you start cleaning with the brushes, etc. As you can see, Al's left the fuel tank attached here and some of the fuel lines. Those will be removed at a later point where we can actually drop them down and effectively clean behind them. Sorry about the shaky camera there. Don't know what happened. I think Al might have moved out of the way just so it doesn't get soaked. Anyways, Al obviously, as you can see there, just letting it dwell a little bit before just working into the grime and soak into it and just soften it up a bit before working it away with the brush, etc. The more time that you spend preparing and getting the isolated locations ready, the better, really. The brush here does an amazing job. It's definitely something that we've missed in the past. It's something that we tried and worked really well. It's something anyone can get their hands on and use. But as I say, it's not a one-trick pony. It's not a be-all and end-all. And there is other processes to follow to get the car completely kind of ready and prepared to decide what levels of repair and paintwork, etc., that you're going to need to do to make the job look absolutely A1, which is what people pay for. Pretty cool camera angle here. You can see the dirty sections, and Al going over this for a second time. In the foreground of the video you can see the bit that Al's already done. Just look how kind of I suppose magnolia in many ways the underseal looks on this white car. You can also see the patches appearing where we need to complete isolated repairs. Looks like quite a lot of stone chips underneath the vehicle. You're never going to clean that off because it's damaged paint, so we're going to have to speak to the customer and just get an assessment of how much needs to be done and what level of repair they're looking at. So again, here Al's just removing some bits and just tucking them up out of the way, so wiring and some of the clips for the brake cables, etc., just so that you can get in clean effectively. Now these items have got to be cleaned separately themselves and treated as isolated items so that you can clean them once you've done the dirty work above. There's no point in wiping them down now because they're just going to get more dirt over them as we're cleaning up above them. So leave them till the end, otherwise you're going to be doing things 3 or 4 times that don't need to be done. Just at the bottom edge there, the lip where the underside meets the side panel, as it were, that always gets damaged where obviously the jacking pads, etc., lift off of. Now you're always going to have to allow for some sort of a repair on there. Another good view here, I'll just wiping down the areas. This is like a grey primer that they leave in isolated areas. You can see that the darker patch, that's something that needs attention. It doesn't necessarily need professional paint attention or anything like that, but it just needs touching up just to kind of make it look right. So just an isolated patch blowing, as they'd call it. But you can see the difference there between the dirty area to the top of the screen and the cleaned area that's forward of Al's head now. It's a tremendous difference and shows you how much just in the last 10 years, how much dirt and grime's built up behind things and has stayed there. And if it's not cleaned away, it just kind of gets even worse, I suppose, is the only way to describe it. So here's Al moving on to the rear splash guard area of the RS that we're doing. You can just see him taping up the edges of the paintwork just with some masking tape just to protect that area so he doesn't hit it with a brush or anything like that. Doesn't want to damage any paintwork, etc. Although underneath here we're using mainly the Typhoon to clean it. Still just a good idea and a professional way to deal with it, etc. So he's taping this up now, as I say, and then he'll get to cleaning the wheel arch liner, which is like a material kind of lining in the rear, and then we can remove those. It's just easier and kind of more effective to clean it on the vehicle rather than trying to clean it on the floor. You can then remove these and clean behind them. Now I know why, obviously I'd get a question about why they were left in if I didn't actually explain the reason why. As you can see, they're a shape, so it's just easier to leave them in place, clean them, then remove them and clean behind them. So I think this is where we're going to kind of sign off now for today. As always, if you've liked the video, then please, please, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button and hit the bell icon to keep notified of new uploads. We're going to be continuing this series in the not too distant future. We do have the next part already filmed, so it just needs editing. I'm sorry, really sorry that we've been slow uploading lately. We've had a couple of technical issues, mainly that I decided to store a lot of the video footage on my MacBook. That didn't go so well for me, even though we've got a lot of cloud storage. The Mac just fell over. So that's where I'm going to leave it, and thanks guys for watching. Stay safe as always, and I hope you've enjoyed the content as much as we enjoy producing it. Stay safe. I know we're coming out the other side now, but we've still got a little bit more to do just to make sure that we can go back to some sort of normality. In the meantime, enjoy the video as I said, and we will see you all soon. Cheers.